So I think what I'm going to try to do, I was trying to decide how I want to go with this video, and I thought that I would do maybe like a day in a life type thing, because my brain honestly, like, you know when you're in pain you can't really think well? That is how my brain is thinking right now. It's just like a big kerfuffle of I want to just lay down and like ice my face, but that's not really life. So I made breakfast. I didn't make breakfast. Made lunch, and that's out in the other room. I'll show you that in a minute. And my daughter, so we were out with the bull a couple minutes ago, and I walked all around this morning. So far I walked all around and showed kids where some wood was going. It's been dry for a couple days, so now we can start stacking wood inside of the high tunnel. So we did that. We saw anything, it's supposed to get cold tonight, so we saw anything that might need to come in, which is very few and far between that needed to come in, because we pretty much did our gardens already from outside. So we grabbed most of that stuff, and so most of that was done, but we just tidied up those couple things that were outside and pulled some weeds around some certain areas, and I came in and made lunch. We'll show you that. And now we've already done like insulin and blood sugar. Let's see, since 12 o'clock we've done, or midnight, we've done 2 checks and 2 shots. Her long day and her short day. She wanted to show you that she can now do her insulin all by herself. Okay, so what are you doing? What do you have there?
My insulin.
No, that's not your insulin. What is it?
My finger prick.
Her finger prick. So she's going to check her own blood sugar. She's 5 years old. So what are you doing?
Yeah. That's silly.
Trying to get enough blood on there?
Yeah.
That's good. That's probably good.
There's some on the side too.
Yeah, it kind of dripped all over, huh?
Yeah. I hate when it drips.
Oh, it's an error.
That's bad.
It's so silly.
Error.
They always expect that you,
It's an error.
they can see you. It's an error. It's very annoying when it's an error, because these strips are expensive. But even if I'm doing it every, like, I don't know, I want to say like 5 to 10 strips, it will come up as an error. So what I'm just going to do now is just, she's going to squeeze it, and then I'll let you hold it. Ooh.
There's blood down there.
148.
There's
Good.
blood down here.
All right, I'll wipe that up. Boop. Okay. So she's getting really good at that. She's going to wipe her finger up. So for her, what we'll do next after she gets her blood sugar is we'll go and see what she wants to eat. Yeah, he is getting out multiple times a day and making a havoc. We have like these massive pens out back, electric fence. He's just like going through it. It's just ridiculous. Today is opening season for deer, and my freezer's my first priority right now. I mean, I need to work on fencing, and I need to work on all these other things. The bowl was supposed to be going in the freezer anyhow, and but our weather has just been so funky monkey. Our bowl, yeah. It has been so weird, so we have not yet. So I think what we're going to end up doing is doing that tomorrow, because you keep getting out. Yeah. Okay, so what we're trying to do is one freezer is going to try to just be meat. That will be this. This is mostly meat here. And then here are some blueberries here from this season. So that's what we have left of blueberries. And then meat here. And then can you do it so I can look in there? And so basically this has a couple roasts on top, but this is mainly chicken. And quite honestly, a lot of this chicken is actually just the carcasses. If you haven't seen our video where we talk about butchering all of our chickens, we butchered a bunch of chickens and I put the carcasses in the freezer. And then once it starts to get cold, then I take my big pot and make chicken broth. And it has not been very cold to have the wood stove on, so I haven't wanted to spend the propane in order to like have it boiling for 3 days. I'd rather put it on a wood stove. So I have a bunch of carcasses in there to make broth, which are really worth it, but it's just like a lot of carcasses and not food, but bone broth is really nourishing. So it's supposed to get cold tonight. So I'm going to start a broth today and I'm going to like roll that through. So I think I'll just like show you tidbits of like what we're doing over the next couple days, maybe even a week. I don't know. I'm going to try to figure it out. All right. So over here, I have, these are all meals. So those are some taco mixed meat. That is not the new, we just found that at the bottom of the other freezer. That is not the new taco meat that we made that was keto for my daughter. And then I have some vegetables. So like this, if it was to cut like this portion mainly is meals. And I also have a big box of those hamburger patties. And then the side over here is vegetables. So I have rice, cauliflower, I have some broccoli, and I have some mixed veggies down there. And then I just threw those on top that I just got at the grocery store. So that's what's in there. And then we're trying to get what is in here cleaned out and consolidated so that we can make room to put the bowl in. So the bowl will probably be, let me show you this freezer. He'll probably go from here one way all the way to the top. And then that's if we don't do ribs. And then if I have bones that I'm gonna keep, there would be some on the bottom of like that half, which would probably be whatever. So we are just trying to, I could can it, but honestly I don't want to because I don't have any meat, and that is going to be like all the beef that we grow this year. Yeah, so let's get to it. Okay, I got a little distracted this morning, so some of the stuff is a bit crispy. So I made some Brussels sprouts with oil and salt on them. There is some cauliflower that I put cheese and bacon on, that's like leftovers. And then these are chicken nuggets that I left in too long. This is the orange chicken. Not right this minute. My daughter made some broccoli slaw here. And then this is actually frozen strawberries that I defrosted and put in a bowl because I needed to use whatever. So we'll just use like a flat spoon and like grab those out if people want those. We have some chicken here, broccoli, cauliflower, cucumbers, peppers, carrots. We have a bunch of bags of carrots, and we have some dip to go with those. Okay, so here is her plate. So she has 1/4 cup of strawberries. She has some of this dip. This is just cream cheese with scapes. And then she has some cucumbers and peppers and broccoli and carrots. And then chicken underneath there. Did I say Brussels sprouts? Brussels sprouts. And then 2 slices of dill pickle. So this plate would be 14 carbs. Okay, so what we are doing is, what I do is I take and go to, it's called Glucose Buddy. And so I push on that. And then on here, I can log any of the things. I can log her blood glucose. I can log how much medicine I give her. I can log her carbs. I can log her exercise. I can log her weight. I can log all those things onto there. So let's just see if I can do this one-handed. I can log right now. Her carbs are going to be 14. And then it comes on here. So you can see like what she's got, and you can, at the top, it has the average of the day. So her average blood glucose today has been 126. She's had 4 units of insulin. She actually has had more. I don't know why. They changed it from Humalog to Lispro, and Lispro is not going in this basal unit, and I have to figure out why. Oops. And then food tells you how many like carbs she's had for the day. So breakfast and lunch together has been 27 carbs, and the activity that she's done, I have not logged that in yet. She's been outside walking, so I will make a log of that in a little while. And yeah, so that's just kind of... So on September 22nd, she went into the hospital. She wants to do it beforehand. She went into the hospital, and when she was weighed in the hospital, she weighed 22 pounds. And so we're seeing right now where she is at. Okay, step off for a minute. Okay, ready? I would say that you're gaining some weight, my darling. You're like 38. So in 1 month, what did I just say 22 pounds? Yeah. No, she was 28 pounds. Correction, I'm sorry, 28 pounds when we went into the hospital. Before then, she had actually been averaging at like 34-ish pounds. We were kind of weighing her compared to her younger sister, and her younger sister was always over, so they always like to go back and forth. So she was about 34 pounds, and then she got sick, and that was one of the reasons I picked her up, and she was really light. And when we got in, she was 28 pounds. So she has gained significantly, 28, 38 pounds. She gained 10 pounds in 1 month. And we've been eating this way. I know that some people think low carb is like lose weight, but low carb is more about like giving your body the food that it needs to nourish itself. And now that she has the insulin as well, her body is able to make her food work well with her body. So we're super happy about that. Huh? Are you happy about that?
Yeah.
Do you feel better than you did? Yeah. All right, you ready to go eat?
Yeah.
Look at a pretty yummy plate. All right, we're gonna go see what else we're doing. Okay, regrouping a little bit here. What we ended up doing is we took out 11 of those chickens, and we're gonna boil those down. I'll show you that when I get back in the house. This has the blueberries underneath it, the strawberries on top. The kids are eating lunch. And this side here, I took out of the other freezer the vegetables, and I'm in this big freezer, I'm piling some vegetables here. And then I'll probably try to pile the greens right on top here. The greens are currently all over the floor. What she is doing is taking, we have these small bags of leeks, which are like what we'd use in a meal, and she's folding them up and putting them into bigger Ziploc bags so it's easier to find in the freezer. And then we found some other meals in the bottom of the big freezer, so we threw those roast down there. This is our meal freezer. So this is our meal freezer here, and that is about it for the meal freezer. And then we have the other freezer. So we're gonna try to just get what we have here on the floor in these freezers. Okay, so here is one of the freezers. I ended up putting the bags of leeks in this freezer. We found 2 more things of meatballs, and all the butter I stacked in this corner here. And then over in this freezer, we have, I put the bananas in here, and then I have 2 bags of spaghetti sauce right there. And then this is where we're at with that. I have some greens there that we're going to bag up and throw on top of these, and then we should be done. Okay, real life, I'm going to do laundry. In between that, I have a washer that is literally taped together. I mean a dryer. And my washer leaks a little bit, but that is part of life sometimes. So I'm just going to throw these in here. And I'm going to take this to my living room. And during quiet time, I will be sorting through some of these things here. Somebody will be reading something out loud, and then I'll probably work on my crochet. But I gotta switch that laundry. I don't know about you guys, but our washer and dryer are pretty much going all the time. I just filled that. And go. I think that's the third or fourth load today. I don't know. I kind of forget what I'm doing. I need to, Saturday, I need to take those towels are next. So that will probably be another load or two, because I think I have a couple other towels, so probably 2 loads there. So before I even like finished putting that wash in, my daughter was getting the towels out so she can fold those, and I will finish up with the other things over there. What will happen now is they're still eating lunch. My daughter is finishing up in the garage. The kids will come in here, they'll pick up all these toys and things on the floor, and then we'll have a quiet time. During quiet time, I'll do that laundry there, and then I'm working on a crochet project. I always like to keep and encourage the kids to keep their hands busy. So right here, I am actually making little hats for the younger girls. So we'll all rotate through a book. We are working on, did this one get finished? That got finished, right?
No, we just started reading that one. We finished the boys story.
Okay, there was 2 in the series. This one right here is the one that they just started working on. It's part of a series. It's a really good story. The other one that we read before was Making Bombs for Hitler. I just got this in the mail as well. We like the My America series, and we'll probably be working on this either after or younger or less mature readers might work on reading this. So basically we'll all sit around, somebody will read for a little bit, then they'll pass the book off to somebody else who can read. Some kids might be coloring, some kids might be drawing, some kids might be working on their own crochet or knit or sewing projects that they need to have done. So they just work on their own individual thing that they're working on, embroidery, whatever it might be, whatever they have going on. It's a great opportunity for them to listen and do that at the same time. Okay, so she brought me this plate, and this is what she ate. She usually eats most of her food, and this time she did not. So we still have Brussels sprouts and and the dip, and then about half of the vegetables. My 3-year-old's growling next to me in case you hear it. So the issue with, we have to, it's called pre-bolus insulin, and pre-bolusing means that we have to give her insulin before she actually eats. So we have to go by her carbs. So her meal, we said, was 14, and she didn't eat all 14 carbs. So that means that she had too much insulin for this meal that she just ate. So I have to figure out basically about how much food she did not eat, and then see if I can find an equivalent of something that's high carb in order to equal out, to level out what she didn't eat. So I'm thinking, let's see, the Brussels sprouts, please stop. The Brussels sprouts and the thing, I mean, we're probably looking at like 7 or 8 carbs that she didn't eat, which can be a big deal with somebody who's so small. So I think probably what I'll do is see what I have for a fruit that would equal, or half a fruit or something like that, that would equal the 7 carbs, and see if I can get her to eat that. Okay, so what she decided, I was thinking that a real easy one is like a part of a banana, but we don't have any bananas left. So she has a 1/4 cup of these nuts she had chosen at the store the other day, and a 1/4 cup of those is actually 7 carbs. So she said that she would be okay eating that instead. Where you can go? Woo! So we decided to go to the park. We went to the park. Decided to take the kids to the park. It's really warm today, so we are just at the park for a little bit. We had nap time, and then we had snack. Out. Then we had snack, and now we're at the park, and then we'll go home and we'll make supper.
I can't go up the slide all the way.
You can't go up the slide all the way.
I would have to go through.
What are you guys doing? You coming down?
No,
On your mark. Get set. Go! Whoop! Let me see. Woo! Morning, guys. It is day 2. Today we are doing a bunch of different things. I am tired. It has been hard dealing with like the insulin. It's been over a month now, so throughout the night I have to wake up and check her levels and stuff. So we're excited. Hopefully within the next couple weeks we'll be getting like a continuous monitor. I'm making oatmeal right here just for myself because that's what I've been eating pretty much every day, a couple times a day, because there's not too many things that I can eat. So anyhow, what are we doing today? What are we doing today? It is Sunday. So Sunday normally we go to church, but our lovely bowl that we were going to put in the freezer, what we were going to do, the plan was, is we were going to go to church, and then this afternoon probably like shoot him, hang him, gut him, all that type of stuff. But last night we have a I'm trying to think of the name of it. I'll just show you. This thing. That thing. I forget the name of it. What is it called? Heat pump. Is it a heat pump? Yeah, I think it's a heat pump. So we have a box outside of the house that runs, there's a heat pump here, and then we have a heat pump in a separate room. We put that in years ago when my son was in the back room so that he could have heat and cooling. Like, he's more temperature controlled because he had Duchenne's muscular dystrophy. And so we put that in so he could have that, and then we just put an additional one in here because they convinced us to do it. We barely ever use that one because if it's air conditioning, it's kind of silly because most of the time I'm canning in here. And why have air conditioning in an area that you are canning? And then as far as heat goes, we usually heat the whole house, not just the kitchen, and it doesn't heat a very good area anyway. He had said that it would heat this area, and it didn't work out. Anyway, back to the bowl. He was rubbing himself, now they rub themselves to scratch themselves, against the heat pump unit last night because we have to have him up in the yard because he keeps getting out all over the place. So, yeah, we decided, and he's in like that netting. We usually use that netting fence for our sheep, and he's in that netting fence. So we decided that this morning we were just going to take care of him. What we're going to be doing in a little while, once they're done with that, is we will probably put something on the television that maybe like a Vody Bachman or something, or a Paul Washer or something like that. And listen to that. But for right now, this is what we're doing. So they're outside. He's already hung. My daughter is she's been cleaning out the front part of the garage, which is awesome. We had a bunch of stuff there, and we usually, I'll show you in a little bit as we start to bring him in, how and where we hang him. He's not going to be able to be hung for a bunch of days. I have a bunch of kids playing in here, so it's going to be loud. So I will try to be louder than them, and we shall see. Okay, so in here I have a wood cook stove, which we use a lot in the winter time. I try to do a lot of my cooking on that. I'm going to show you what I got in here. So last night when we got home, we had gone to the park. I got home. I waited too long before I took any pain medicine for my mouth. And so I ended up sitting there with ice packs on my mouth. So I have dentures now. So I can start smiling at people once it doesn't hurt so much to smile. So basically what they did is they pulled the teeth out in the top and then they shoved the denture right in afterwards. 2 places in my mouth actually like punctured the sinus cavity, so they're pretty deep roots. So it's just been really painful, and I've had teeth pulled out before, and usually within like day 3 I'm good. And this is, I had it done Monday and today's Sunday. It's almost a week out and it is still, I need to make sure I'm on top of the medicine. If I'm not, I'm just really uncomfortable. And they don't see any infection as of now. They did put me on an antibiotic, which I haven't been on an antibiotic for years. I'm going to need to do like a probiotic or something after because I'm taking the antibiotic. They're really nervous that my sinus cavity was going to like get an infection in between that area. So what am I doing here? I did last night pretty much. I came home, I iced up, and then I just did these 3 pots because it's supposed to be cold for the next few days. So in these pots I have, you can see some carrots floating in there. I'm sorry that I didn't video this as I was doing it. This actually is holding 5 carcasses from our chickens. There's also some greens in there, some onions. Basically what I do is I take, anytime that I'm cutting up anything for vegetables, I cut that up and leave like the tops and all those like funky pieces, the skins of onions and that type of stuff. I put it in my fridge freezer like in the house, and then I'll dump it in during broth season, and then I'll dump it in here, and that will add a bunch of flavor and nutrition to my pots. So I have 5 carcasses in there, 3 carcasses. This one just, these started this morning. This has been going a little bit longer. These 2 here, which these 2 do not have anything in it yet. My daughter, she just put the carcasses in and the water for me because I'm not allowed to lift anything. So I'm going to run out to the garden. I used all my tidbits and this one here. I'm going to run out to the garden because I know I have some like leeks in there, and we'll put like the tops and the scraps of that in there as we put the leeks in the freezer, as well as some, what else do I have out there? Oh, some kale. I like putting some sort of greens in there because that gives lots of nutrition as well. So I am going to work on that, I think. You can see, want to see my messy living room? Okay, my living room looks a big hot mess, but what they're doing is, you can see the shelves over here. They're kind of empty, and so she's sorting out toys in these bins here, and then these white bins. This is actually like, I built this, remember I built that for the boots last year, and then we ended up moving it. So we've been using this for toys. So we sort the toys in here like this. So this area hasn't been done yet, no? No. So she's done those 2 areas, and then working on these areas here, just sorting through it because, so, and then the kids were, let's say, playing with farm, but they got moved over. So some of them are playing various places throughout the living room, and she's organizing it all. So this is where we keep like our daily toys here. Up on this shelf I would have things, there's like different bins where older children or middle children can have their crochet projects in these, or knitting or whatever, in this row here. And then this row and this row each have 5 bins of smaller toys that get taken out daily, and then we try to save what's in here in these bins for like a weekend type thing. So I came out to the freezer just to grab something quick and easy for supper. So we have 2 things of meatballs, and then I'm going to do this sweet and spicy sauce. I'm going to grab some, I'm going to unbury some broccoli and grab that and bring it in the house. Okay, I grabbed these because they were on the top. So we're just going to have these 4 bags of broccoli stir fry. And then I'll have these here. And then I'll probably do an Instapot full of rice. And Sweet Pea would probably have like meatballs. And then she actually really likes salad. So she'll probably have a couple meatballs and then like a large salad. So that's what we'll have for supper. So I'm pulling this out for supper. And lunch my daughter already has situated, and I totally forget what it is. We'll see. That came in from the garden there, and they just like cut it up and did it there. That will probably be like 2 meals. Oh look, somebody forgot a slug. Protein to add with our salad. So the kids are in the other room singing and to some praise music, and I thought I would take a moment to do some cutting out. I am working on some Christmas projects, and for those Christmas projects I don't want to mention what they are out loud, but I am making a blanket. I'm not saying for who. So these are some of the things I've already cut out. I'm actually doing like a pinwheel type style. I am not a professional like quilter at all. This is probably going to be my, let's see, when the girls were little, I made them some, I don't know, maybe around 10th quilt or something like that. I don't know. I love making homemade things for my kids because they seem to cherish it, and they'll say, "Oh, mommy made me this when, you know, I was this old," or I don't know. And I think that you just put like your love into like what you're doing, and you're thinking about your child individually. Like, I wonder what colors they would want, and not only what colors they would want, but what makes you think of them. Like, that design makes me think of that person, so I want to use that. So all these that I'm doing are all scraps of stuff that I have to put together to make a quilt. I know a lot of quilters nowadays, they buy brand new fabric scraps, and I think that that is great, but we are on a budget and I'm just trying to use what we already have. I'm really blessed to have a big fabric supply, because I buy fabric when I can find it for, I know I need to replace my blade and I'm not doing it right this minute because I'm trying to hurry up and get through a couple things. But basically, people will buy and make beautiful, beautiful quilts and have the perfect colors. And I think that is wonderful. But I also think there's a beauty in taking what you already have and trying to make things work together to make it beautiful. And so yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to find some special colors for the person that I am looking at, and because I'm on here, I'm going to have to go over and do a couple of these over again. So I'll come back, show you what I got done in a couple minutes. I'm just going to cut here, and then let me see, cut here. Oh, man. Go iron these. So I just ironed these out. I'm just making sure with this pattern here that it's gonna work out okay, and then what I'll do is do all my squares there. Am I doing this right? Let's see. Yes, this is right. Oops, no, that is not right. Let me see. So this one needs to go that way. Yes. There we go. So that will be my pinwheel there. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to grab my coffee. And I am just going to do the rest of the squares. And then I'm going to do the rest of the squares. And then I'll leave. I don't know if I'll cut them or not. We'll just see what time it is. I think it's like 12:30 now. Not quite sure. I think what I'm going to do is this video is going to have like what we're doing this week, but I'm going to have the whole beef side of things separated out for you guys as well, because I know some people are just interested in like the homesteading type stuff, where some people might be interested with just the inside stuff. So I'm working on this. My daughter is working on cutting some liver. So we've never dehydrated the liver before, but that is what she is doing. We've soaked it, and then we're putting it on these trays, and then we're gonna turn it on overnight. We only have a couple people in our household that will actually eat liver, but we do know the health benefits of it. So I'm thinking, she actually suggested that we dehydrate it, and I thought it was a great idea. I've actually heard of people dehydrating it and then making liver capsules. I don't know if we'll get that far or what we'll do with it, but I think dehydrating it is a good choice because we still have some beef liver in the freezer from last year. So yeah, I'm gonna work on this and then I'll be back with you guys. You helping, Mama?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Can I show her this?
Yes, you can show them that. Ooh, isn't that pretty?
Can I see that?
See? Yep, so she's helping me.
Yeah.
Yep, and what are we making? We're making pinwheels.
Yes.
See them over there. Morning, guys. It is Tuesday morning and we are working on a bunch of things. Actually, no, today's Monday morning. Thank you. My daughter just told me what day it was. I appreciate that because I need that. So we only have one pot on the stove here. My daughter was so sweet and got up for me, and she started canning first thing this morning, and I'll show you what she is working on here. So she has, she's actually on, this is the pot she just took off. I never did end up getting those kale greens and putting them in there, so the broth will be a little bit lighter, but I am completely okay with that because it has all the bone broth material in it. So she's working on those there, and then I'll show you, she just came, took these both out and is starting a whole new batch, and these are the ones that she took out. I think it's 9 something. It's like 9:30 or something, right?
It's 9 now.
No.
No, it's 10 to 10.
Okay. So that one's getting ready to get capped. Can you see the smoke there? Okay, so we're doing that, or she's doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm very thankful she's doing that. I appreciate it very much. I am still in a space where I am not allowed to lift, which is very difficult for me because I'm usually the one who does like butchering and that type of stuff, so it's more like a mental game. My kids know how to do this and they're gonna do great with it, and I'm gonna do what I can do, but it's like mentally, like I usually do this, I feel like I'm not part of this. Okay, so I'm gonna show you what this is. So my oldest daughter is cutting the fat off of this part of the carcass here, and then she's going to cut out this big, I don't know if it's called the tenderloin in a beef or not. I know in a pig it is. This right here, she's going to cut that out, and then I'll make, once she cuts that big section out, then I'll cut the steak parts off of there. And she's just putting the fat in the bowls for right now. My son, he is working on this part. So this is only what she has over there, and what he has here is only half of the animal. No, a quarter of the animal. So it was a big animal. So he's taking, because he was so tall, they could only get like to here with the fur and stuff. So he's taking the rest of the fur off before he starts on cutting up this portion of the meat. This morning it was cold out, so we ended up starting both the wood stoves, which took a little bit longer. The canners were on, so we didn't have breakfast until we started the wood stoves because the canners were on our regular stove. And they were cutting off the end foot. So yeah, that is how we're working things out this morning. I left the sewing stuff out last night, so I am going to be cleaning this area up and then helping with the cow. Okay guys, you'll hear background noise because it's life with a bunch of kids in the house. So what I'm doing is I have 3 chickens that we've butchered before and have them here. So I am taking, I have 3 Dutch ovens. 2 of them are going to go in my house oven, and then the other one is going to go into the wood stove. The one for the wood stove is a little heavy. It's this one here. And I'm not supposed to be lifting things right now, so I'm just going to do the 2 that are going to go in the house, and then I'll have somebody lift that and put that up there. So, just going to... So I'm just going to take the chicken out, plop it in there. Could you grab me some coconut oil? She's going to grab some coconut oil while I cut up this big onion. They are building castles behind me with these blocks and crashing them down. So I'm going to take this big onion. I'll probably only use half of this. This is a monster onion. Half of this in each pot, and it doesn't need to be huge. It just needs to be in chunks because it's just going to be for the flavor. We're really not eating the big hunks of onion like this. So she's just going to plop some coconut oil on the top of this chicken here. There we go. That's good. And I'm just gonna put this all around. We like, this is gonna make kind of like a dressing type thing too, so we like quite a bit of fat on it. That would probably be the equivalent to about half a stick of butter. So I'm gonna do that, and then what I'm gonna do is just throw these onions around it, and even like into the cavity a little bit. Then, oops. I'm going to take some of this lemon pepper and generously season it like this. I actually want a really heavy flavor because this, we're going to eat it today, but then we'll use it on salads and stuff. And we like our things not bland, I guess you could say. And then I'm going to throw a significant amount of salt on there. We'll grab a bag of, we were gifted a bunch of these bags, or else I just use regular carrots and chop them up, but I'm going to use these. So I'll grab,
What are you making?
I don't know, I might actually grab 2 bags of these carrots. And then just a couple potatoes. We don't want too many potatoes, but we also were gifted some potatoes, so I think I'm just gonna do like 4 or 5 small potatoes, and I'll just cut these in 4ths. I want a lot more carrots than I do potatoes for our family. If you like potatoes more, then go for potatoes. We're trying to go more on the low carb side, so some people will want potatoes and then some people won't. But most people will probably want some carrots. So I'm going to have this like this, and then I'm just going to add a cup of water, which I don't have over here. I'm going to add a cup of water. I don't have that over here, and then put the lid on, and then I'm going to put it directly into the oven for maybe even up to 2 hours. And I'm going to do the same with the other two pots. One's going to go on my wood stove, and then the 2 other ones can go into my household stove. So that is what we are going to be eating probably for supper today. It's already like 10 o'clock, so we'll probably eat that for supper, and I'll figure out something else for lunch. I have something on my face. All right, we'll be back in a little bit. And that's how it is there. So I thought that maybe doing like a day in a life or something like that would be of interest to you guys, because you liked that before when we did a day in life when we were doing some outside stuff. I can't really speak very loud because my teeth are still bugging me a bit. But the problem is this week we ended up doing a cow as well. So I'm not quite sure. I think what I'm going to need to do is make it into 2 separate videos. So I'll give you bits and pieces of this, but I'll also put those bits and pieces into a butcher a cow video. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing, guys. So this is what you got. It may be choppy, it may be whatever, but it's my life, okay? So right now what I'm doing, and quite honestly, I don't know what video this is going to be on, if it's going to be on the beef video or if it's going to be in the day in life video. So I'm taking some bags, and I am going to take, I have a bunch of meat so far. Not a bunch, it's not really a bunch in comparison to what we have to do today. But I'm going to make it into steaks. We have a couple roasts left, and I find that we use steaks a lot more. So cuts that may have traditionally been more roasty, we're making into steaks because they can be steaks. It's just that it's whatever your family uses most. So we use a lot of burger, and we use a lot of steaks, more in the sense of like frying up a steak and maybe like a stir fry or like that type of stuff, right? So I want to do more steaks than roasts. That's what my kids tend to want to eat more of. And let's be honest, grass-fed steaks are so expensive. So expensive. Okay, so I'm going to move you guys over here, I think. And then excuse the rest of the mess in the house, because that's life, and you know, this is my focus right here. Alright, and I'm going to show you what I'm doing. There we go. Alright, so nothing fancy here. I got some baggies. I am going to, I think in one of my pockets. Yes, look at all that. So I got some things. I'm just going to start out writing some bags that say steak. To me and our family, it doesn't really matter where the steak comes from. We're going to use it like in the same way. So I can tell like a tenderloin just from looking at the bag. All I'm going to do is write steak. And I don't even know if it's called a tenderloin, to be honest. That's the term for the pig, but I don't know. We shall see. So I'm just going to write steak on some of these bags. I don't know. I got more steak coming from them over there. I just put those chickens in the oven for supper. So I am going to cut this, and then I'm going to figure out what else I need to do, and then maybe come back to the rest of the pile that will be in the kitchen by the time I'm done with this. So I'm going to cut these. I think I'm actually going to leave this fat on if I'm able to cut through it, because that will, we think fat's really important too. So I don't have my good knife either. We shall see, we shall see. So usually we cure our beef for 10 days, but we don't have 10 days of cold weather. So that would be, let me just show you guys. This would be one of the steaks. This is our grass-fed bull. And I am going to weigh this out, but I'm just going to put it off to the side on the clean table for now. And it might help me because it's not partially frozen to do it like this. Just to get through that fat there. Might need to get a different knife. I have a knife that I usually use for butchering, and all those knives are being used right now, obviously, to butcher the cow. but I think I might see what I have for a different knife because this one does not like me. I'll be back. Okay, so a little bit of a crazy day. The cow is being butchered, so I just kind of made this table out in the living room, and people are going to eat. Actually, we have a small picnic table that we'll have in the living room. So she has a roll up of buffalo chicken deli meat with cheese, a keto yogurt, and a nice salad. So this actually is this is low carb. This is only, let me see, this is only 7, maybe 10. Okay guys, it is after lunchtime, but we're still eating lunch. So we're like rotating through lunch, and it is 12:45. So where we are at with everything, I'm just going to take you a tour around so you can see where we're at like, so we started canning early this morning, but we started with the meat and stuff around 9:30. Okay, 10. Okay, so at 10. So I'll show you where we're at. Here's the canning stuff. This is waiting to go in, or are those done? Yeah, these are waiting to go into the 2 canners. Here's the 2 canners, and then this is what's done. That kind of looks cool. The fat. Remember those like old-fashioned lanterns? My mother had one of those, and it's like the oil light used to bubble up. Okay, anyway, that's broth, not oil lamps. So the goal is I think that that's all the broth in there now. That is all the chicken broth in there now. If you stick around, we're going to be making beef broth as we start clearing up some space, because there's no space at this moment. Okay guys, so it is time for me to be leaving in about 10 minutes with my daughter. So I thought that I had only a quarter left to do. So this right here is only half of the cow that we are doing. So far we have these, but what I'm gonna need to do is bring all of these out into the freezer. So let's just count up where we're at right now. Let's count the roast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 roasts. And then each row of these is 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 36, 37, 38. Okay, now I'll show you the hamburger. Hey guys, end of the day. Loudness, we're gonna go out there in just a minute. That is the grinder working. So we did all the cow today. It took, actually we have some that's still grinding, which we'll probably put out into the other room. We started the broths. Tomorrow we'll probably do the fat and then the rest of the grinding for the hamburger. But I'm going to show you what we got done. I'm also going to show you what we got done for the chicken broth. So let's go see that. I locked myself in the bathroom so you guys could hear me. Okay, let's go see. My husband's laughing at me now. He was wondering what I was doing in the bathroom talking to myself. Okay. So this is all the broth that we have here. How many was there? I don't know. I have to ask my daughter. I think she said it was 49. I want to say it's 49.
It's 55.
Oh, 55. She said it's 55. Can you leave it off for 2 seconds? She said it's 55 of these. As you can tell, some of these, see how dark this is compared to this one? This one had a lot of, we put like greens and onions and that type of stuff in it, and this is just like regular broth. That's why it's so light. It would just be like the carcass and the water. But we got all those. And then we have supper and stuffing hamburger here, and we have a bunch in the freezer as well. So she has that bowl over there, and then this up here, and then she's doing this little setup here, and then putting them into the laundry basket here. And then, okay, if you remember this morning, my table was full with steaks and a roast. That has all gone out to the refrigerator, out to the freezer. And this is other stuff that is going to need to get brought out to the freezer. So this is like a whole second batch. I just wouldn't have enough space to lay it all out for you guys. So here we go. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 36, 37. So we got 37 additional bags of steak. And then hamburger off of the front quarter there. Now some of these, I just count them all as steak, but some of these are like steak strips like this. Like I've cut them into smaller sections for like stir fry. And then there's some other bigger ones like this. Yes, you can see that kids are helping, right, which is awesome. Like that. So that is that for now, and I will show you the broth.